Hey, yo, let's go. You know what it is? It's another week of the Spoken Mare Show. I'm Mike Rennie. With me, as always, the lovely Mary. How you doing, Mary?
I'm wonderful. How are you? And honestly, I am so excited to see you.
Right? Get to actually meet each other in person. What? Let's go. I love it. Toga bound. I'm beyond excited. I can't wait. Just been talking about it for years and glad I can actually make it happen, especially, not the easy jaunt being literally the other opposite coast. So I'm excited. Oh, man, just great to see everyone too. So, all the Twitter fam, been sending all the love. A lot of East Coast out there, so excited for that, huh?
Yeah, it's super exciting, and we have a wonderful weekend of racing ahead of us.
Right. Some stakes races. The Haskell, even though it's not at Saratoga, White Burial somehow running the weekend I'm at Toga. Can anything else be better for my personal self, even though he's in trouble? And on that note, we're just going to kind of run through a couple things. We got Ryan Mosley on later. We're going to talk about the Haskell. We got the Lake George also. We got the girls going a mile. Should be a great race. But let's jump into that Haskell first here. We got a stingy race with two horses that are probably going to be bet pretty heavy, and Tavia and Jack Christopher there. And Widerberry, I think, sitting on the sidelines there. But I'm thinking those two are going to take the most money, huh? What are you thinking, Mary?
I think they probably will be taking a lot of the money, and I just don't necessarily see these two horses being the victors. I mean, I could be wrong, and I could be short-sighted in that. I just am not sure with Tabor going back to the Baffert barn after being transferred back from Tim Yakatine. And I'm just not totally sold on that. I'm not totally
Yeah.
sold on Jack Christopher going into a grade one, going two turns when he's never gone two turns. And it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like he wants to go two turns based on his pedigree. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
Exactly. I really enjoy Jack Christopher. It sucks that he's going against my boy White Abrario. That's just tough, but I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to hope that I'm with you on Tabitha. I always just butcher her name. Excuse me. I just don't think he's gonna get it done. I just don't like you said. He's been switching around too much. I didn't like the horse before that much, so ran two huge buyers right out of the gate, which is very difficult. That might have been it for the horse. You know what I mean? So
Right. I think it was a pretty ambitious goal of putting him into the Derby so soon in his third start. But I will say that I think the reason Jack Christopher is being pointed to such races is because think about who you have in the Breeders' Cup later in this year in the mile category. You have horses like Flightline and Life is Good potentially going into those races. And honestly, as much as I love Jack Christopher, I'm not so sure he matches up well with those two horses. So Chad might be thinking, we want to see what he does two turns. Let's see if we can put him in the classic as opposed to the mile, because the mile's going to be very competitive this year.
I totally agree with you on that, and it's going to be an interesting race. I think it's going to set up. I'm going. My play is exacta box. Widerberrio and Jack Christopher is my play. I'm going to hope Widerberrio can nip him at the end. Jack Christopher runs out of gas. Widerberrio sits the trip, stalks him, and knocks him off. Is my hope. My play is an exacta box. Will be I'll be a lighter win bet on White, but more of an exacta box play is how I'm going with it. For there. So, yeah, should be a very competitive race. I'm excited. And I actually like the humid weather. I think it plays better to White Burial. Bring that Florida type weather up there. So, we got the girls, right? What's that girl?
Yes. We have the Coaching Club American Oaks here at Saratoga. It drew a field of 5 horses, with the 2 horses drawing the most attention, Nest and Secret Oath.
And I've been on Nest since Keeneland, and then she fell victim there, and then ran well against the boys though at the Belmont Stakes. So very impressive horse. Love the strides, gobbles up ground. Just love how Nest runs. She is amazing. Sacred Oath though is tough. So, but I'm leaning for Nest on that. What about you?
I will also be leaning towards Nest. I think her performance in the Belmont Stakes was incredible, and I think I think she just has the body type to really run. She's just a big filly. And I want to see that translate over here in the Coaching Club American Oaks. But you never know what could happen, because last year, your reigning Kentucky Oaks winner from the previous year ended up second to Maracuja, who was, I believe, the longest shot on the board in a 4-horse field. So you never know. We're always open for upsets here.
That's a fact. That's why they run the race. You never know. So safe trips, everyone involved in those 2 days. Let's go, White Barrio. Get that W. I love how aggressive they're being with them. But yeah, so let's go, White Barrio. Safe trips, everyone. Rosario up. But that should be a competitive race. It'd be tough to beat Jack Christopher and Tabitha, and hopefully we'll see what happens there. I'm excited for it. Then Friday, we got the Lake George. We got the females on the turf, 3-year-olds going a mile. I'm pretty pumped for this race. I think it's going to set up for some speed for me. I'm thinking, what are you leaning towards in that race, Mary?
I am leaning towards Eminent Victor, which is the Chad Brown horse with Diane Pratt and the irons. This one just caught my eye on paper, and it's going off, I believe, morning line of 5-2.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens, and I know that you have a different horse in mind.
Yeah, and I'm very worried about that horse. And I have to be honest, she's tough, and the connections tell you what you need to know. Also, someone like Chad Brown is hotter than anything. Also winning at Toga already, so he's going to be firing. But yes, I am leaning towards the 4 off a layoff, Koala Princess. Trainer Delacour is 43% at this spot. Also, him and Trevor went at 43%. So it's kind of interesting there. So that's 2 high percentages. The plus 180 days Dakar on 22 times, and that percent is based off 22 times. So that's in my land of where I trust it. I wait till 20 tries with the trainer before I kind of trust that's what maybe their move. You're winning at 43% at 20 times. I'll take that all day. So let's hope he has Dot up off the layoff the 4. Trevor McCarthy gets a stakes win there. That'd be pretty cool too for them. So that's why I went with the 4 in that Phillies race. So should be a good one, huh?
Would love to see it. Would absolutely love to see it. And that brings us over to our bets for today, Thursday, July 21st, when this will be.
Yeah, I'll kick it off here. We're going with the double, and I'm gonna be on track placing this double in person. Let's go. We're going with the 5 horse to get it done, and race 4, and that's gonna be to start the double off with and we're just gonna try to get a price after that. 3, 5, 6, 9 to bring it home. I think the 5 to get it done to start off the double. Get us into a little spread race, see if I can catch a double early into the day being on the track. I'll post this ticket. I'm pumped up. Be fired some other ones I'll be posting. So, there's my double that I'll be posting.
To let the audience know that I made the boo-boo here, that's supposed to be actually race 2 and 3.
Okay. Thanks for catching that. Race 2 and 3, not 4 and 5. So, race 2, we got the 5. Race 3, we have the 3, 5, 6 down. We'll have an updated graphic for y'all. We post that though. So Mary on the live catch. What a snag. Nice work, teammate.
Well, the thing is you hesitated when you said it, and I said, I don't know if I plugged that in right. And
it triggered honestly with me too. So I just kind of went with it, and I was like, we can maybe fix later. I didn't know 100%.
Right.
But, hey, Mary's been pumping the Grand Slam plays. No one talks about it. Love it. It's a new thing. People need to look at it. There's money in that pool, and if a lot of people aren't playing it, I've never played one. That just lets you know how many other people don't play it probably. So Mary has a Grand Slam ticket. Kick it off for us, Mary.
Yeah, so for those of you not familiar with the Grand Slam bet, your first 3 horses or first 3 legs, just your horse has to hit, or multiple horses have to hit in, win, place, or show position. The last leg needs to win. So I will be taking 1 horse in the first leg in race 6 to kick off, 2 in the 7th race. So when you have that and say the 2 and the 5 both end up in win, place, or show position, you can cash out twice on this bet. And then I have 2 horses picked out for race 9. And race 9, just to let everyone know, tomorrow is also Thoroughbred Aftercare Day at Saratoga. And this state's race is named for trainer Rick Violet, who passed away a couple of years ago, and they honored this day because of him and his efforts for Thoroughbred Aftercare. So those are, that's a very nice stakes and tribute that they implemented this Thoroughbred Aftercare Day last year. So we definitely support that. Both Mike and I do support efforts for aftercare.
Definitely. That's a big thing I'm going to try to get more involved in. The more I can do, more people I meet. I'm talking to people on the side right now. I got some other stuff cooking within the horse racing world. So, yeah, I love all about it because there's so many aspects to the game.
And to let everyone know, just backwards here, one thing I did forget to mention is in race 9 here, the 2 horses that I'm picking are Coinage and Dakota Gold. And you might remember Dakota Gold as the horse that screwed us all in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf because of the unfortunate scratch and running for prize money only for modern games. Dakota Gold became the post-time favorite for that race and did not perform, but I'm hoping this is a good place.
I agree. I like it. I like that bet. I love it. Let's get it home. Let's get some more people betting on that. We can coach you up. We'll keep posting them. I'm going to get involved too on the track and fire a couple of my own. And hey, we got a great interview here. We got Mr. Ryan Mosley, owner breeder from Barbados. Great interview. We could have went on for an hour. It was just a great interview. It was just great insight coming here. Let's kick it off. And here is Mr. Ryan Mosley now. Back as we leave the States to welcome this week's guest, owner, breeder from Barbados, Ryan Mosley. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to join us this week. How are you doing, man?
I am doing very well, thank you. And thank you very much for having me on here. This is the week that my son was born, my first child. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Running a little low on sleep, but a chance to talk horses, I'm always there for that.
We love to hear it.
Love to hear that. So a little bit, I don't know if tons of people know exactly who you are. So a little bit of background on yourself, Ryan. What got you into owning and breeding horses?
Well, I was born into this, really. My father, his name is Philip Mosley. He was an owner. He was a breeder. He was very passionate about horses. He'll tell you that it was preordained that he would be that way. His name, Philip, it comes from the Greek phili epos, meaning lover of horses. And when he was 7 years old, his father was employed by the government of Barbados, and the government of Barbados had housing that was right on the historic Garrison Savannah, which is where horse racing was run. So he would wake up every morning, look through his window, and the horses would be exercising, and he was in love. He was in love from a child. And so, I mean, I don't know my life without horses.
Yeah.
Like at 6 years old, my favorite monthly publication was Pacemaker magazine from the UK. And I would get into my dad's car. I didn't care about comic books. I cared about nothing like that. I would get into my dad's car at 6 years old, excited. Is the pacemaker here? Is the pacemaker here? And he wouldn't open it. He would bring it for me in the packaging. I would open it myself, go straight to the back. If anybody knows the old Pacemaker magazines from the UK, all of the pattern races from all of Europe were in the back. And I would go and I would look at the pedigrees of all of the pattern winners in the UK and study patterns from 6 years old. I would go and read the articles after, but the breeding, that was my passion.
Love that. Love that. Looks like you definitely poured into it. The magazines, just looking at the breeding. It's funny you went to write that part of it. You skipped right to like the good stuff almost. Like you knew what you wanted to see. I like that. And then so that got you into kind of now. So now you own and breed on your own, correct?
Yes. So I have two racehorses currently on my, well, I shouldn't say on my own. One is on my own. The other one I share with my father and my brother, and it's very much a family passion. So yes, we breed, and my dad's name is known as the breeder, but he is, I think, since we were small children, he would always take my advice and my brother's advice, and it would always be a family discussion. And we've actually done really well. Within the last 10 years, he's bred 2 Derby winners, and this is from maybe 3-4 mares. So
Pretty solid numbers there.
Oh yeah, and that's just 2 Derby winners. I mean, we've had another classic winner and some other classic plays. So we've really done phenomenally well breeding. But a lot of that I actually attribute to my study of US breeding. My favorite thing in breeding is the Rasmussen factor from Leo Rasmussen. That's in breeding to superior mares through different progeny within the first 5 generations. And we had some really famous horses here. I mean, well, horses that really ought to have been famous. We had a son of Ballad, the great Ballad, the Canadian mare, called Nosferatu, which would have made him a half brother to Glorious Song, a half brother to Rahi. So really famous horses. And he was champion sire in Barbados, I think, for something like 9 or 10 straight years. And that is after he died after, I think, only 4 or 5 years at stud, freak paddock accident. But then we had a good son of Rahi here called Janak. I think they paid quite a bit of money for him as a yearling back in the day. And, when he came to Barbados, before he ever ran a race, I was like, Dad, we can replicate the Rasmussen factor here in breeding to Ballad, because Rahi was out of Glorious Song. So I saw this opportunity, and we bred a mare called Poetic Justice. She ended up being a stakes winning sprinter. She was a little limited in terms of how many races she ran because of her knees, but she produced 2 Derby winners. One of them finished, actually won the Triple Crown, but got disqualified for interference in the middle leg. Very, very controversially.
A little dicey, it sounds like.
Yeah, but no, she ended up being a fantastic producer. And one of the horses that I currently have is the daughter of one of her Derby winners, a very brilliant horse called Poetic License. So her name is Toxicity. She's had some issues. She had a splint, froze it, and she's doing well. She's getting back to the races, and hopefully in August she'll show what she can do.
That's good stuff. That's amazing. Like, to have all that, bring it to, and then apply it to where you're at. See what's worked. You're obviously very smart, know what's up, and then you're applying it. It sounds like you're getting some results that you're liking.
Well, we've definitely had excellent results, and I thank you for the compliment. I wouldn't say very smart. I would say very well educated by those who were around me. I've learned so much.
You're a good listener.
Yeah, and listen, I've had great people around me. I mean, I can see just in your background you have a picture of White Abario.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I grew up with Safi Joseph Jr. It's a very good friend of mine. I was actually there at Gulfstream Park when he won the Florida Derby.
Yeah, I think I saw you there. I remember that picture.
Yeah, I was there.
That's so great.
My brothers, my friends. That was an awesome day. So I mean, listen, I grew up around some really, really good horse people. One of my very closest friends was he's Sir Michael Stout's nephew. Sir Michael Stout is a Barbadian as well. I mean, Barbados has done phenomenally well for a place with a population of 280,000. That's only 166 square miles. I mean, there've been so many from
top quality people that have done well. I'm a Safi homer, as everyone knows. That's my guy. I love it. I love Gulfstream. That's where I fire the most. my people there. I love that.
I'll give you my Gulfstream Pick Six strategy. If Safi has multiple horses, single Safi, single Safi, single Safi, all.
Oh, let it go. In Safi we trust.
Going back to your childhood and the races that you really looked for, you were mentioning a lot of UK races and European races. Was that a primary area that you were looking at racing, or were you looking at racing across the globe? What was that experience for you like?
Well, it was definitely worldwide. I mean, obviously, the thing is with Barbados is that we race once every 2 weeks at the best of times. We have a turf course, and because we have a turf course, and Barbados was a colony of England, it was only natural that most Barbadians would have looked to England and the UK in the early days for pedigrees and for horses to import into Barbados, and just to follow it generally. So again, Pacemaker magazine, that was a UK magazine. So I've always been into the European racing, and my father still, to this day, probably doesn't miss a day of watching UK racing, especially. So again, but being in Barbados, you tend to just want to watch racing all over the world. US racing for me is my favorite, just because it's so accessible. You can go on the internet, you can see all the past performances. The information that you have is far greater. So I gravitate.
I'm a novice with the European. I'm very novice in those races. I look for some stuff. Maybe I go more off. I like you said, more of information. Like you said, I don't know how to read it, and there's not a lot of it.
There you go. But I mean, look, there's sometimes I'll wake up at ridiculous hours to watch racing in Australia or in Japan or Singapore. So I love racing. If there's good racing anywhere in the world, I will try to tune in.
I love it. That's good stuff. And on that kind of, you dipped into a little bit. So you said you guys in Barbados, you run every 2 weeks, and is that year round constantly, just every 2 weeks year round?
Well, again, we have just one turf course that we run on.
Okay.
And because of that, there are breaks. So we have three seasons.
Okay.
The first and second season are not really very well defined, if you ask me.
Gotcha.
The big break that we usually have is between the second and third seasons, which tends to be about 6 to 8 weeks, just to give the turf course some time to heal itself. But the third season ends on the 26th of December, and then the first season usually starts the first weekend or second weekend in January.
You go quick back to back a little bit.
Seasons in name only. So, but it is a legitimate industry here in Barbados as well, even though we don't run that regularly. We have, I think it's over 2,000 people that are employed in the horse racing industry in Barbados. This is still a micro industry that the government pays attention to, that the government in Barbados has assisted. There's 2,000 people in a population of 280. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, it looks like it's definitely the like what you want to be a part of if you're a local. It seems that the game you want to like you said, out of that many people employed per capita there, that's like almost a pretty solid sport to the locals then.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and look, we export talent. I mean, look at Safi.
Yeah.
Look at Patrick Husbands, one of my very closest friends. I have to give him a shout out. His name is Kevin Nichols.
Okay.
He's a jockey at Woodbine. Very good.
Okay. Yeah, Nichols.
Very good strike, right? Yeah, very underrated. But Kevin's a very, very good jockey.
Good stuff. We'll check him out a little more.
We've had grooms from Barbados that have done really well. I mean, the groom of Catherine Sophia that won the Kentucky Oaks, that's a Barbadian guy. And every level of the sport, we have had people making an impact. So it's a small place, but we're very powerful in terms of horse racing. Oh, I wanted to mention again, talking about Woodbine, and now that Saratoga has started. I mentioned that stallion Nosferatu. He was by Vice Regent, the Canadian champion, out of Malad.
Yeah.
I understand that Coolmore, when they saw his success, because Coolmore, they race in Barbados as well, under Michael Smith's wife's name. They have a pretty large stable here. And when they saw his success, they made an offer to buy him at the time for close to $1 million US, and that's in the 1990s, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic stallion. One of his sons that won the Triple Crown here, a horse called Incitatus, went to Canada. The owner was a Canadian guy. His name was Blair Down. So he took him to Canada because he won our Gold Cup, which is a race that Ken and Sarah Ramsey have won a few times. Eugene Melnick would have sent some horses here and won as well. I mean, Queens, you imagine the Queen's Plate winner, Sir Dudley Diggs, ridden by Jalon Samuel, who's now trying to make it for himself.
He's done well.
New York. Jalon is in New York.
Yes. Jalon Samuel, if that guy gets an opportunity, that guy can ride.
I agree.
He has won either as many or more Gold Cups in Barbados than Patrick Husbands at a far younger age. That man knows how to time a race. Anyway, so Incitatus went up to Canada. He won graded stakes races up there. And I think he came either second or third in a graded stake at Saratoga as well. And this is a horse bred in Barbados.
That's so great.
We know our horses here.
Yeah, you do. Definitely. It seems like the talent, what leaves there is very high talent per capita, for sure. I love to see that, man.
Absolutely. And you should come to Barbados one of these days.
Hey, I'd love to. That sounds great. I would love
to take you around racing, introduce you all around. I mean, it's a fabulous place to watch races. We have a very knowledgeable, very, very, very knowledgeable fan base.
That's what I like to see, because I'm actually in the opposite. Portland, Oregon is not well received, so I love that you guys are like all about it. You know, that's what I'm about. So I like to be that. Yeah. I actually might be moving to Florida there in a couple of years. That's another story. So maybe I might work my way to Barbados someday. Have to come check you out.
Not far. Yep.
I love it. Hey, well, as we wrap this up, I want to thank Ryan Mosley here. I could talk to you for hours. We try to keep the whole show under 30 minutes. Man, you are great. What a great interview, man. Way to put Barbados on the map. Let's keep it going. I'm going to be following you more. And once again, congratulations on being a father also. And so
thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Love speaking with you guys. Listen, if you ever run out of people to have on the show, because I could speak for hours too.
Hey, I like it. Hey, we'll have you back.
Everyone always has some new stuff to share and new stories to share. So there's always room for a repeat guest. Don't you think?
Sure. You'd be 100.
You also have a new fan of the show, so I will be tuning in as often as the show is aired.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love again and your time. I know you're a busy man. And once again, everyone, we have Mr. Ryan Mosley here, Barbados owner, breeder. Thank you for your time. Cheers, man.
Thank you, guys. See you. Good luck if you're playing this weekend.
What an interview. What great stuff, huh?
He's awesome. He's super cool. And again, congrats to him on his firstborn child.
Yes.
Wish you many more sleeping nights and less sleepless nights.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're coming. Thanks again, Ryan. But let's get into our horse of the week.
Yeah, so this is our horse of the week. This was submitted by Josie Gray, the Real Smokin' Joe on Twitter. And this is him, his wife, and Oster's Pride. They bought her as a yearling, and she won about $50,000. And it's a very cute photo with the horse and them. And, you know, he later explained that the breeder's name was Oscar Thomas, and it's named after him. And I actually did some research on him, and he was a big person. He's big in giving to his community and charities and whatnot. So they actually established, after he passed in 2013, the Oscar J. Thomas Charitable Trust. So that's just very heartwarming story to end us off tonight.
I love that. Good stuff. Thank you again for those. We love to see it Oh, appreciate that. And here's my little horse of the day. This horse will be going race 7. We're going with the 5-horse Artemis City Limits here. Been running against some tough company. 4 straight 90s buyers. The speed of the speed is what I'm hoping. And it's Maker's other horse. The other horse Maker has in the race, it's his first off the claim. And with Maker horses, I like to wait one race with that horse within his barn. So that's why I like this, the second of his 2 entries. And it should be around this price or maybe float up to 4 or 5 to 1. Saez, Maker, see if we can get this horse home today. Yeah, get a little bit of a mid-price there. So, hey, wrapping this up, I got to get going. Toga coming in hot. See everyone tomorrow. Appreciate all the love you guys support. Mary and I love this stuff. We're going to keep this rolling. We got some interviews at the track coming up. Once again, another week of the Smoke and Mare show. I'm Mike Rennie. With me as always, lovely Mary. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.